Yo! Welcome back to the channel. Kamusta sa inyong lahat? Brant, the man, the myth, the legend, the Captain Jack Sparrow of Wuthering Waves, the hero without a map, and the theatrical airborne menace the open world never saw coming. He drops anchors on his enemies, swings through the skies like a caffeinated Spider-Man, and occasionally remembers he's supposed to be healing. He's not just any character, guys. He's a physics-defying fever dream, a mid-air enigma wrapped in a tornado of anchor-based chaos. But the real question is he actually good? Or did Kuro just give us the world's first gacha game circus act? Is he an over-engineered work of art or just a glorified air show? Well, considering he can literally solo the middle tower of the Tower of Adversity, I'd say he's less of a circus act and more of an aerial executioner. Buckle up because we're about to break down the chaotic masterpiece that is Brant. Shout out to my boy Jimitsu for lending me his Brant, which I used in this video. Thank you so much, Jimmy. You're awesome, man. Alrighty, let's get this out of the way. Brant's combat is about as grounded as a balloon on a windy day. His normal attack exists, sure, but they're basically just there in case you run out of airtime and need to look like you're doing something productive. The real magic, mid-air combat. That's right. Kuro looked at Brant and said, what if he just didn't touch the ground at all? Brant's air combo is a glorious 4-hit sequence that takes forever to finish, complete with mid-air gymnastics that would make even professional acrobats jealous. But wait, it gets better. You can hold down the attack button to start spinning like a Beyblade. Because what's better than attacking? Attacking with style, baby. And if all that wasn't enough, he has a skill that launches him back into the air in case gravity dares to inconvenience him. Truly, a revolutionary character design because the floor is lava and Brant refuses to lose. Now, let's talk about Brant's hardest hitting attack, his Forte circuit, the legendary anchor drop. You might be thinking, wow, that sounds devastating. And you'd be right, assuming you actually managed to land it. See, Brant's entire playstyle revolves around building up his Bravo points, because nothing says badass like Bravo points, so that he can summon the Holy Anchor of Doom. But let's be real, guys, the real difficulty here isn't the damage. It's making sure your enemies are still standing in the same postal code by the time it lands. This thing has an animation so long, I'm pretty sure I could microwave a hot pocket before it actually hits. But hey, if you land it, you get a massive shield, which you'll need because by the time the animation finishes, the enemies that dodged it will be coming straight for your face. So, how do we build Brant? Simple. Energy regen. Lots of it. An unholy amount of it? Why? Because the more energy regen Brant has, the more attack he gets, and more sustained utility he can dish out. At 280% ER, he gains a whopping 2,600 attack. And while that sounds amazing, let's not forget, getting that much ER is harder than explaining gacha rates to a first-time player. However, you only need 250% ER for an optimal build. This lets you swap out one of your 3 cost echoes for one that boosts fusion damage, increasing his overall damage output without completely sacrificing his energy economy and sustained utility. His best weapon? His signature, Unflickering Valor. Because of course it is. It gives him so much ER, 77% to be exact. Other options also exist. However, they just don't perform the same as his best in slot weapon. That said, Overture is a fantastic alternative, giving a solid 58% energy regen for those who don't feel like sacrificing their wallets to the gacha gods. As for Sonata or Echo sets, Tide Breaking Courage remains his best option, providing energy regen while boosting his fusion damage. The 4-cost Dragon of Dirge also enhances his fusion output, making it another strong choice. Molten Rift is also a solid second best, offering a slight 7% reduction in damage. Moonlit Clouds and Rejuvenating Glow, however, should be avoided, as they severely neuter Brant's damage potential. As for the substats, prioritize energy regen, crit, and basic attack damage. When it comes to his talents, max out his Forte circuit first. This is the core of his entire kit. After that, prioritize his Resonance Liberation for better damage potential, and finally, his basic attack, because let's be real, you're only using that when your aerial theatrics are rudely interrupted. Now, let's talk about team comps. Brant is the ultimate support who wants to be a DPS, and that makes team building very interesting. His outro skill buffs fusion damage and resonance skill damage, meaning he pairs incredibly well with Chang-Li. Brant swings in, does his thing, buffs Chang-Li, and then she proceeds to do more damage. Rinse and repeat. It's a win-win situation. You could run him with Carlotta, the Shorekeeper, Sanhua, Verena, Bai Shi, and even Sheshi if you like. But at the end of the day, you want to go back to Fusion. Encore does a great job of replacing Chang-Li. And if you don't have Encore, you could use Shisha. Just pair them with Mortifi for the coordinated attack boost. Now, if you're a true Brant believer, you might be wondering, should I pull for his sequences? Okay, let's break it down. S1. His anchor drop will slow down enemies and give him a 60% damage buff from jumping around like a lunatic. It's actually quite decent. His S2 gives him 30% crit rate and lets his teammates trigger a bonus attack. Also solid. His S3 to S5 sequences provide incremental buffs that, while technically useful, don't significantly alter his gameplay or make a compelling case for pulling them unless you're deeply invested in maxing him out. These sequences often offer small statistical improvements or minor quality of life changes, but they don't fundamentally change how Brant operates in combat. For example, S3 might provide some extra damage uptime, S4 could slightly improve his survivability or team synergy, and S5 might smooth out his energy economy or anchor usability. However, none of these offer the kind of game-changing enhancements that justify prioritizing them over his weapon. However, his S6 gives his anchor some AoE explosion potential. So now, the million-dollar question, should you pull for Brant? Here are the pros. Fun and fast-paced playstyle if you enjoy pretending you're an over-the-top action hero defying both logic and physics. He can heal, shield, and buff like a true jack-of-all-trades, making him the Swiss Army knife of the battlefield. But most importantly, he can deal a lot of damage. And finally, he swings around like Spider-Man on a sugar rush, zooming through the air with all the grace of a caffeinated squirrel, which is both hilarious and mildly concerning. As for the cons, number 1, his best weapon is locked behind a gacha banner. Because of course it is, because why let players have nice things without suffering first, right? Number 2, he requires an obscene amount of energy regen to be truly effective, meaning you'll either be farming artifacts for eternity or sacrificing your sanity to the RNG gods. Number 3, anchor drop is amazing. If your enemies are kind enough to stand still and admire the sheer artistry of its glacially slow descent, otherwise, enjoy watching it land in an empty space while your foes have already moved on with their lives. Number 4, Brant's basic combo Spinaroo is an absolute work of art. If that art was a fragile glass sculpture held together with a duct tape, he gets interrupted so easily that even a passing breeze could ruin his momentum, leaving him flailing mid-animation like a rejected circus act. Okay, the final verdict? If you enjoy chaos, mid-air nonsense, and pirate aesthetics, Brant is 100% for you. His gameplay is like a roller coaster with no seatbelts, wild, unpredictable, and somehow exhilarating. But if you prefer easy to use, consistent DPS units that don't require you to defy gravity and master the fine art of mid-air combat, well, maybe keep saving your black cards and invest in someone who respects the laws of physics. Alright, that's it for my deep dive into Brant, the high-flying anchor-dropping madman of Wuthering Waves. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more questionable gacha takes. And remember, the real treasure was the Bravo points we earned along the way. See you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Maraming salamat po, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye!